Ethan Erkelishan is a financial technology investor who invested early on in Bitcoin. He used to live in Saskatchewan, but now lives in the Bahamas, and he joins me now from Nassau via Skype. Hi, Ethan.
Hi, it's good to talk to you, Jill.
Nice to talk to you too. How is investing in Bitcoin similar to what most of the rest of us do, which is invest in, say, mutual funds or something like Apple stock?
Sure, I think it's similar in a sense that you can obviously purchase a Bitcoin, you can purchase cryptocurrencies and hold on to them as assets. But I think this should be thought of as a new asset class that is emerging. It's not exactly the same as purchasing, say, gold or silver or stocks and bonds, but it is its own asset class that is emerging, and you can simply purchase those from people you know or from established marketplaces that are dedicated specifically to buying and selling cryptocurrencies.
What are its biggest risks?
I think some of the largest risks for cryptocurrencies are mainly today scaling risks. If you're asking if there are any major risks in respect to cryptocurrencies disappearing anytime soon or collapsing, I think those risks are right up there with meteoroid hits. I think that when we're talking about risks, we need to talk about technological development, because what faces blockchain development today, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's any other cryptocurrency that exists, it's all about how these systems will deal with exponential growth as they're experiencing today.
What would you recommend to an ordinary person who, say, had maybe $5,000, they wanted to invest it, and they're interested in what you're doing?
I think that the most prescient points of advice that I can offer are, first off, slow down, because a lot of people don't do that first step. And after that, it's really learn about the technology. Learn first about what blockchains are and why they're different than the financial systems we're used to. Learn what blockchains are disrupting and why they're useful. Read the Bitcoin white paper that was the very first introduction of blockchain technology to the world. And from there, research cryptocurrencies that interest you. It's not necessarily just Bitcoin. There are other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin Cash or Ethereum or EOS or Waves or who knows. There are so many different cryptocurrencies that you can look at as potential investment avenues if that's your interest. All I ask from people who are doing that, or all I would recommend, is that those people do their due diligence and learn about the space first before jumping in, seeing prices go wild.
As they have as of late. Blockchain technology is something that's creating a lot of buzz about being a game changer for industries beyond just cryptocurrencies. What should we be paying attention to, and why is that?
Well, there are immense applications for blockchain technologies, right down to very simple stuff like smart contracts turning on your washing machine when electricity is cheap. Stuff like this is really interesting in terms of what sort of impacts there could be. Do we see an Airbnb that exists on a blockchain and completely destroys the known economic modeling that we see today in those sorts of businesses? Absolutely, that kind of stuff can be built, and it is being built, it is being researched. So that kind of stuff is important to look out for. But I think probably the biggest markets that stand to be disrupted by blockchain technology are all financial markets, whether that's just the money markets globally, which are roughly $100 trillion in size, or if we're talking about including things like precious metals and derivatives markets, which then at that point reach into ridiculous numbers like quadrillions of dollars in size. We're talking about big markets that can be disrupted by what is essentially something that is changing the face of financial technology. And that's something that I'm primarily interested in.
It will be interesting to see where it goes from here. Thanks for your time today, Ethan.
Cheers, Jill.